Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, descendants of slaves, scattered around the globe on slave ships and through many captivities. Shalom, shalom. All right, we're going to get into this American empire teaming up with the European Nato and talk about this rulership of the Edomites and how they this World War III that we's in is going to be the end of their kingdom. This is the sign of the end of their kingdom. But first of all, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rikakadash. Yahweh in the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai in the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Now I'm going to get into Jeremiah. Started off with Jeremiah 28 and 8. Show how the Lord, this is what His purpose was for the prophets. Jeremiah 28 and 8, it says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. See, war was always a transition from these kingdoms, because what Exodus 15 and 3 say, the Lord is a man of war. Yahweh is a man of war, and He the one set up the kingdoms. Now when you go into let's get that Matthew 24 and show how Yahweh Shai, he came to the same situation. He was telling them about the end. He said it's going to be a hardcore specific thing that will be happening. This Matthew 24 and 3. It says, as He sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto Him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? And that world goes into the governmental structure. Now, getting right to the point, verse 6, he says, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation by bloodline. People's gonna rise up against other people, other nationalities. They're gonna have race wars. It says, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, because when war happens, this is what causes the famine. Pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, so He set the foundation that at the end of these people's kingdom, these Edomites' kingdom, you're gonna have war, and they kingdom is gonna be ended by war. Now I want to get them ruling in these last days. Let's get it from the scripture. Now I'm gonna go into Ephesians. Let's get it out the New Testament. Ephesians 6 and starting with verse 11. It says, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Now He's going to explain who is the devil in the next verse. He says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principality. That principality stands for government. See, American government, the EU, all the combination of Edomite governments. It says, against powers. against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, because they deal with spiritual false gods, witchcraft, and all kind of spiritual situations. I'm gonna jump down to verse 16. It's gonna identify who this nation is, and that's running this government, that's running rulership of all, taking the shield of faith. What? The things that was heard. It says, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Okay, now this wicked is in the Old Testament, and it's identifying who the nation is. That's the government, that's the rulers, that's the powers over the kingdom in these last days. This is Malachi 1 and 4. It says, whereas Edom, see, this is the nation of Edom, says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. That impoverished goes into, they was ruling under the Roman Empire. That's why you had the Nazis talking about, we the third ram, we the third reign of the Roman Empire, we the third part of the Roman Empire. See, the third Reich, that's what they call it. But it meant we the third reign, we the third leg of that Roman Empire. Because you had the Germanian and Germany in that whole situation. But it says, but we will return and build the desolate places. See, they returned in 1492. See, and start taking over them lands that they was once ruling during the Roman Empire. It says, or taking over the world. It says, they shall build, but I will throw down. So they're gonna fall and come back and take over the kingdom again. Because the Israelites was ruling during the Byzantine Empire, and Constantine, see, the Israelites was ruling Europe at that time when they fell for 1,000 years. It says, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them, the whole nation of Edom, the border of wickedness, and the people against who the Lord have indignation forever. So they the wickedness in high places. See, they the wicked that got the fiery darts throwing at the Israelites. They throwing fiery darts at the children of Israel. Now let's get it out of Ezekiel 35. It has a timeline in it. This is Ezekiel 35 verse 2. It says, son of man, set your face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus says the Lord Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against you, and I will stretch out my hand against you, and I will make you most desolate. See, how you going to make Mount Seir most desolate? Verse 4, it says, I will lay your cities waste. How do you lay cities waste? See, you drop a nuclear missile on it. It says, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. Okay, now here go the timeline in verse 5. It says, because you have had a perpetual hatred and have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. See, now we got time. Now you seeing the timeline. He's showing you a specific time that these Edomites, who Mount Seir represents, is going to be in rulership, shedding the blood of the children of Israel. It says, in the time of their calamity. When is that? That's when the Israelites is in slavery. The Israelites is in captivity. It says, in the time that their iniquity had an end. At the end of their captivity, the Edomites is going to be ruling the world. They're going to have the world filled with cities. And And real quick, let me get that in Isaiah, because that Lucifer in Isaiah is talking about these Edomites. It's Isaiah 14 and 21. I want to focus on them cities. It says, prepare slaughter. This Isaiah 14 and 21. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. See, that EU, NATO, America, they filling the face of the world with cities. You see? Now, let's go back to that Ezekiel. Ezekiel 35 and 5. Now, let's go down to verse 10 and show what did these Edomites do in the time of the calamity of the Israelites. Let's break down this calamity of the Israelites. Verse 10, it says, because you have said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas Yahweh was there. So the northern kingdom of Israel, the southern kingdom of Israel will be in captivity to the Edomites in the end time, man. So these folks that's ruling, we know who they are, because it's a timeline in here. Now when you jump down to verse 15 to show a different name, it says, this Ezekiel 35 and 15, it says, as you did rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel. Yeah, because they were doing slavery, they was rejoicing, man. They had big round tables with slaves serving them food, and they sitting around laughing and drinking, rejoicing, because we got these slaves taking care of us in our kingdom. It says, because it was desolate, so will I do unto you. You shall be desolate, O Mount Seir. Here go the identification. And all Idumea. Idumea is a Greek way to say Edom. It says, even all of it. See, not some, just the bad ones. It says, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Okay, so this is the timeline. See, verse 5 said time 2 times. Let you know this is the time where we know these Edomites is going to be ruling. Now, let's get it in Joel. Joel gives you a timeline on when the Edomites is going to be ruling. The Joel, let me get verse 1. It says, for behold, the Joel chapter 3 verse 1. For behold, in those days at that time will I bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. What's the captivity? That's the slavery. Okay, so this is when the Israelites is going to be in slavery. Verse 2 tells you the time. Most of these theologians, Christian theologians, they'll tell you that this is talking about the millennial reign, the end times, when the Lord is going to gather all the nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat, because it matches up with Revelation 16 and 14. It says, and let's read verse 2 to get the context of this World War III also. It says, I will also gather all nations. And what is that nation supposed? And when you read some translations, that nation says Gentile. I will gather the Gentile. See, and they made sure they took that Gentiles out of there, because now you're going to see a clear focus on the Israelites versus the Gentiles. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. So this is why they wanted to transfer Israel to some imaginary church, so it won't be obvious on what this war would be all about. It says, who they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Who was scattered among the nations? They didn't get religious people and scatter them amongst the nations. They didn't say, all you Christians, get on a boat. We're going to scatter you amongst the nations. No, the Israelites, the bloodline, was scattered amongst the nations on slave ships. It says, and parted my land. You got the Arabs over there, and you got the so-called white men. See, they parted in that land. Now, when you go into, let's get this timeline of these. Verse 6 give you another for these Edomites, a historical name. This Joel 3 and 6, it says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians. See, because we'll read them Deuteronomy 28, 68, and they'll say, see, they sold themselves and all this crap, man. No, they were sold unto the Grecians. And who was the Grecians? The so-called white man. It says that ye might remove them far from their border. Okay, now let's jump down to 19 and see who are these Grecians with biblical identity. See, that Grecian is not no biblical identity. That's just a landmass. 19 it says, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. See, so this is what it's all about. The violence against the Judites. See, the Judites is the most destroyed people in the world. That's why when you say their name, you can't even say the Judites' name. See, you say the N-word, the N-word has been outlawed because the Judites was violently destroyed. See, they were so violently destroyed, you can't even say their name. If you up in the 7-Eleven or a Kangaroo gas station, and you got 3 or 4 Judites up in there, and you say that N-word, it's gonna be a whole riot up in that stove. See, they gonna be ready to kill you because you done said a word. Because that's how violently destroyed the Judites have been. And these small, tiny hat people trying to say they some Judite. You'll never be a Judite, man. You just some Edomites trying to hide under the identity of the Israelites. But the Israelites got been identified through the scriptures. See, they got a whole category that nobody else can't fit. You just can't throw anybody in the role of Judah. See, Judah has got one role to play in this kingdom that we experience. Now let's see here. Let me get some more on that. We was at Joel. So let's get another one. Put these Edomites in the last days ruling the world. This Numbers 24. They can't run from Numbers. Numbers 24 down at verse 17, it says, I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not near. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. See, that's who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai or Mashiach. See, he the one that's gonna rise up out of Jacob. He's the scepter, the ruler that's gonna come out of Israel. Now jumping down to verse 20 to get to the point, this Numbers 24 and 20. And when he looked upon Amalek, see, that's them tiny small hat peoples over there that's controlling America, that got all these lobbyists and all these peoples in AIPAC and all kind of other Israeli organizations paying these politicians to further misuse the tribe of Judah and the other 11 tribes of the nation of Israel. It says, he took up a parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nation. See, Amalek was the ones ruling in that Roman Empire. You had the Herodian dynasty. See, a bunch of red dragons killing black babies. See, trying to find the Messiah, the black Messiah. We need to kill all the babies that's 2 years old and 2 years and under. And Harold, when you look up Harold, he was a certified Edomite. Okay, it says Amalek was the first of the nation, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. See, his latter end is gonna be that he's gonna perish forever. Let's get some more. It's Isaiah 63. Yahweh shall come and crack that sky, like it says in Matthew. See, he's gonna come with power and great glory on the clouds. Like it says in Luke 21, he's gonna come on the clouds with power and great glory. Who is gonna be in rulership when he comes? Now you got the Jehovah wickedness trying to say, oh, it's the American Empire is gonna be around at the end of the world. See, you got all these people realizing that these Americans, these Edomites, is gonna be ruling the world when Yahweh shall crack that sky. It says, this is Isaiah 63 and 1. It says, who is this that cometh from Edom? See, Edom is the so-called white man. He is the one ruling the world, not no Arabs. The Arabs ain't ruling nothing. That's why they're in the hole over there hiding, they got to build a whole military structure under the ground to hide from the so-called white man. Who is hiding right now? See, who is on the defense? It ain't the so-called white man on the defense. He flying planes over there. He flying, rolling battleships. We got our destroyer going over there. Abraham Lincoln, we got Abraham Lincoln on the water headed to get these Arabs. See, they is not in no rulership position. It says, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Now, and we got a Basra, Connecticut. When you go to Connecticut, it's a Connecticut Basra. And the story behind that, they talking about some guy rolled up in the courtroom with a red garment on. And so they was having some kind of controversy. So they say, oh, we gonna name this place Basra. Say, you a lie, man. Say, even if he did, he rolled up in there with a red outfit. The Lord ordained that situation to happen to show us this is Basra. America is Basra. It says, this is the glorious in his apparel. So that when the guy rolled up in there with a white red outfit, that showed how he was in glorious apparel, like the Isaiah 63. And back then, in the 1800s, they knew about it. You know, it's against the law to harass religious people. Oh, okay. It says, this is the glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. He said, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Okay, verse 2, it says, wherefore art thou red in your apparel, and your garments like him that tread in the wine fat. So that wine fat is when you stump grapes, and they stump the grapes so they can get the wine from the grapes. It says, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment, and I will stain all my remnant. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. So when he coming to the nation of Edom, and he's going to be looking to stain his garments with their blood. See, he's going to come to Babylon the Great, America's empire. Well, but they got military bases all over the place, man. That's why the Iranians, they got to shoot missiles and try to hit all of the military bases that's around them, because they surrounded by American military bases. It says, I want to jump down, verse 8. Let's see what he coming to do. It says, for he said, surely they are my people, children that will not lie. So he was their savior. See, he coming to Edom to save the children of Israel. See, because they was the Grecians that took the Israelites into captivity. They was the Edomites that was going to have the children of Israel in the captivity in the end time. See, you can go and put it into the chat GPT or whatever the heck, and it's going to put up the same thing. So yeah, in the end time, Joel 3 is talking about the end time, when the Edomites is in rulership. Isaiah 63 is talking about the end time. See, because you can't get no other conclusion from it. And they coming to save, he said he coming to save his people, the children that will not lie. See, they'll tell you, oh, that was just our artist writing a white Jesus. We all know that he's not white. It's just, who cares? It doesn't matter. You see, but his children not going to lie. We're going to expose all these lies that they sitting around telling. That's who he's coming to save. Not no people trying to justify a lie. Caesar Borgia. When they came in power, when Edom came in power during the 1492, the 1490s, that's when they put up Caesar Borgia, so-called white Jesus. And then the Pope Alexander the Sixth, I think, once Caesar Borgia died, he put the man picture up there. Then he died like 5 years, 6 years later. See? Now let's get another one. This Isaiah 6:34. Isaiah 34 goes with Isaiah 63. And I'm going to get right to the point in verse 5. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. See, it's going to come down on the Edomites, man. This is what his sword is going to come down on. And we look at verse 4 tells you what that sword is going to do. It says, all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. What is it talking about? See, it's going to dissolve. It's going to melt with fervent heat. Like 2 Peter, what is it? Verse 10. Yeah, 2 Peter chapter 3 and 10. Yeah, 2 Peter chapter 3 and 10. They talk about the earth or the heavens dissolving with fervent heat. It says, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down. So he's describing something. He's saying the stars of heaven shall fall down. He's seeing stars falling from the sky. Now, Apostle John quoted this verse when it came to those 4 beasts in Revelation 6. And I'm going to go to that. Let me get verse 6. Let me finish verse 5 and get verse 6. He says, for my sword was bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. This is the judgment of the Edomites and their rulership. It says, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with the fatness of the lambs and goats, and with the fat of kidneys of ram. For the Lord have a sacrifice in Bozrah. That's talking about America. It says, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Okay. Let's see here. Let's say, what's that? That was Isaiah 34. Yeah, Apostle John, he was quoting that Isaiah 34. Because he say, to the law and to the testimony. That's why we use precept upon precept. We grab other precepts to prove what we're talking about. This is what Apostle John was doing. And and getting right to it. This is Revelation 6 and starting with verse 13, because that Isaiah 34 was talking about figs falling from the trees. Look at what he says in this Revelation 6 and 13. It says, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. So he said he called it host of heaven, but John here is saying the stars of heaven. So he's saying the sword come out of the sky, a weapon come out of the sky, like falling figs off of a tree to destroy, have a great slaughter. What is going to do that type of stuff? It says, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Okay, so this is the description. He's describing these nuclear weapons that's coming to America, like Eddie Murphy. It says, the cast off an untimely fig like a shaking of a mighty wind, and that's going into Jeremiah 51. Your missiles was described in great detail. See, Apostle Peter saying they're going to dissolve with the elements with fervent heat. But Jeremiah 51 and 1, it says, thus says Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, talking about America, that's another one. Isaiah 13 describes America as spiritual Babylon. It says, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. See, that of a mighty wind. See, the stars of heaven and those untimely figs that will be dropping from the sky, like the stars in the sky, was nuclear missiles John was seeing. See, he's seeing a bunch of these missiles, but they look like stars falling from the sky, like a bunch of figs off of a tree. There's a lot of them. It's a cluster of them. And he's saying it's a mighty wind too. Now, it's describing in verse 2, it says, I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her. What comes from a fan? Wind. Mighty wind come from fan. And shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Okay, now let's go and get that Isaiah 13, because Isaiah 13, it describes these missiles, man, and it says it in a special way. Now, where is it? This Isaiah 13, and I want to get verse 2 to get the context. He said this is a burden of Babylon, talking about Babylon, verse 1. But verse 2, it says, lift up a banner upon the high mountain. That high mountain is the American empire. That high mountain is the kingdom of the Edomites, the rulership of the Edomites. It says, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. See, go tell your nobles, your intelligent people, and see if they can figure it out. Verse 5, jumping down to verse 5, it's Isaiah 13 and 5. They come from a far country. Oh, it's coming from a long distance. A far country. Not over the hill, not over the mountain. See, this is going to be something that's going to travel from a whole nother country. See, and he ain't talking about no airplane. It says, from the ends of heaven, even Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. So the weapons of his indignation. What's that? What's the weapons of his indignation? these nuclear missiles. See, these ICBM intercontinental. See, you can go from a continent to another continent. You can go from a far country and make it to another country. And it's a weapon. It's not a plane. It's a weapon coming from one country going to the next country. What weapon is that? It says, the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. How ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. That's why people saying, man, people acting strange nowadays. I don't know what's wrong with people. They in the stores acting strange. Everywhere you go, people acting strange. Yeah, because they look at the news. They hearing the missile. They talking about nuclear missiles on the news, man. Trump talking about, hey, we gonna exterminate a whole civilization. We gonna drop a bomb and just get rid of the whole civilization. See, if you can do that, America, guess what? The Russians can do it. The Chinese can do it. The Iranians can do it. The North Koreans can do it. You see, America ain't the only one with no nuclear missile, man. And that's what's going to be done because the Lord set the whole situation up. So let's get these weapons of indignation. Let me finish verse 9. Yeah, let me get verse 9. It says, behold, this is Isaiah 13:9. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. See, that's his focus. He's focusing on these sinners, these people that want to have pride parades and pride months. This is what he's focusing on. Let's see here. Let's get some more about Edom being in the last days. Let's see. Oh, this Babylon. Let's connect Edom with this Babylon. It's Psalms 137, starting with verse 7. It's Psalm 137:7. Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. This is the other name for these Edomites. O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewarded you as you have served us. So happy shall he be. He is going to be happy to see the nation of Edom fall. Because let's go into what was that? Zechariah. Zechariah chapter 2, verse 7. It's going to identify where this Babylon that's ran by the Edomites, where is it? Zechariah 2:6. It says, ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north. That's talking about North America, the northern hemisphere. Trump want to say we controlling the northern hemisphere. See, we gonna get our Greenland, Cuba, Venezuela, we gonna get all land. It says, flee from the land of the north, says Yahweh, for I have spread you abroad as the four winds of heaven, says Yahweh. Deliver yourself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon. See, with the children of Edom. The children of Edom going to have you in captivity in the last days. See, they're going to be the daughter of Babylon. That's what Jeremiah 51 was talking about when he says, Babylon is going to be hit with banners and a destroying wind, because while that the Israelites is in captivity to the Edomites, it's going to be nuclear missiles flying, man. Now let's get another one. I think Amos goes into it too. I want to get 9, but let's hit them with verse 1, because it's all talking about these end times. That's what the prophets was prophesying against great kingdoms. They weren't just talking about one great kingdom either. Great countries and great kingdoms that's going to be ruling over the Israelites. This Amos, I'm going to start with verse 6. It says, thus says Yahweh, Amos chapter 1, verse 6, Salah. Thus says the Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof. See, they swearing they're going to be able to get away from the punishment. It's not going to happen, because they carried away captive the whole captivity to deliver them up to Edom. See, you had these Arabs that's over there now. They the one was in cahoots with these other Edomites, not other Edomites. They was in cahoots with these Edomites, Ishmael. See, Ishmael was teaming up with Esau. See, that's why in what 1971 or 74 they signed a major agreement. We gonna sell our oil in your American dollar, and we gonna get rich, and you gonna get rich. Your American dollar is gonna be the top dollar on the earth, as long as you let us get rich with you. Okay. And that further the captivity of the Israelites. Let's jump down to verse 11. It says, thus says Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. And let's get, he said forever. Real quick, let's go back to Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 50 and 33. It says, thus says Yahweh of armies, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. See, you're not getting no reparations. We're not going to get no boats and send y'all back to the land of Ham. See, we're not giving you Jerusalem and the land that belonged to the Israelites. We're not giving you nothing. You're going to stay here and keep serving us so we can keep getting rich. And let me address that situation in Zechariah. Now, Zechariah said we're going to dwell in the daughter of Babylon. What we're going to be doing when we dwelling in the daughter of Babylon? Is it 5? No, it's 11 and 5. We're going to be dwelling in the daughter of Babylon under the children of Edom. This is Zechariah 11 and 5. It says, whose possessors slay them. That's why we had a whole 4 or 5 years, I forgot how long, but from 2016, man, they was shooting. It was a bunch of public executions. That's the best way to say it. On TV, in the public, people catching it on camera. See, it's all over the television, and ain't nothing nobody was gonna do about it. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. See, when they went to court, no, we just gonna put them on leave. We gonna say he's unable to serve his duties, we're gonna make him retire early. We're not gonna send him to jail. It says, and they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. See, we're gonna keep making money for these folks because whoever their leaders is, they don't care. They in cahoots with them. They don't care nothing about them. See, so that's what the Israelites is gonna be doing in Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. And when you go to what is it Jeremiah 52? It says, hold on, Jeremiah 50 and 42. It says that the daughter of Babylon was the one holding them captives and refused to let them go. So that the daughter of Babylon is just another name for the children of Edom. See, the children of Esau. That's what the so-called white man gonna be when he ruling the world and having these descendants of slaves under his thumb and his foot. I want to get that Amos 9. A lot of people look over this because we talking about end time when the house of David is rebuilt, when the house of David come into power under Yahweh. Amos addressed it. He says, I'm going to get right to the point in verse 11. It's Amos 9 and 11. He says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacles of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. So he's going to rebuild the Israelites. He's going to have Yahweh, King David, the 144,000. He's going to rebuild the nation of Israel like in the days of David. Now look who is on the scene when he do this. Verse 12. It says that they may possess the remnant of Edom. Because Edom was going to be just brought down and they're going to go into captivity. That was Numbers 24 and 18. See, Edom is going to be a possession in those last days when they ruling, when the end of their kingdom. They're going to end up being a possession. It says that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen, which are called by my name, thus the Lord that doeth this. Says the Lord, says Yahweh that doeth this. So he gonna have these Edomites in rulership in these last days. Let's get it out of Genesis. Genesis gives you the blessing of Jacob and Esau. Now let's address the blessing that was given to Esau. The Genesis 27 and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. So that stands for you're going to have the rulership over the world. You're going to have all the richness of the world. It says, verse 40, and by your sword shall you live. That's why Yahweh shall say, they that live by the sword shall die by the sword. See, all these weapons and this amazing military going to be destroyed by the same thing. It says, and shall serve your brother, and it shall come to pass when you shall have the dominion. Meaning, you going to serve your brother because your dominion, your rulership ain't going to last forever. You going to get your rulership, but at the end of your rulership, you're going to be a possession to your brother Jacob. It says that thou shalt break his yoke from off your neck. So you're going to break the yoke of Jacob off your neck, and you're going to have a rulership. He's not going to be ruling over you until your kingdom is finished. Now let's get some more on Edom ruling in the last days. Let's get Obadiah. This Obadiah, and I want to let me start with verse 3. It says, the pride of your heart have deceived you. So why would they be prideful? See, a poor person, that's why the Lord says it's abomination, man, to see a broke, homeless person prideful, because it don't supposed to be. You got nothing to be proud about. So the opposite of that is the reason why they so prideful is because they got the rulership. They got all the power. It says, the pride of your heart have deceived you, you that dwell in the clefts of the rocks. See, we know they were the cave peoples. They got caves in Spain, all through Europe. It says, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Who gonna defeat me? I'm undefeatable. Look at the sword that I have. Look at the armor that I have. Who gonna defeat me? See, you not gonna say no crap like that when you are playing defense like the Arabs, which they try to push and say the Arabs is the Amalek. You got the real Amalek. He's trying to push off the Arabs to be him. Say, no, you Amalek, and them Arabs is running from you because you got the first nation, the first rulership. They don't got no rulership. It says, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? See, you tell some of these older Edomites that America finna lose the war. See, they'll say, you got to be crazy. America will never lose. And I work with a lot of them, and they'll tell you straight up, nope, Trump is gonna get them, don't worry. It says, verse 4, it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though you set your nest among the stars. What are they doing now? They so-called circling the moon, going around outer space and the stars, shooting rockets up in the sky. See, the Edomites is doing that. The Arabs ain't shooting no rockets in the sky, man. See, the Arabs is under the ground hiding from the Edomites. It says, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring you down, says Yahweh. So he's going to bring them down. Even though they undefeatable, they have a military that's undefeatable, he's going to bring these Edomites down. Then Obadiah is all about Edom. And this matches the beast in Revelation. Let's get that. The dragon and the beast. They put both of them together so everybody will know when all the lies come out, we can identify who the dragon and the beast is, because Edom is saying, who gonna bring me down to the ground? I got the greatest military. I can destroy your whole civilization. Okay? This is Revelation 13 and 4. It says, and they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? And who is able to make war with him? See, who is like America and who can make war with these Edomites, man? You're not going to defeat these Babylonians. See, you got everybody tiptoeing around the situation. They hiding up under the ground, begging China and Russia. Oh, China and Russia, can you help us? We underground. These Edomites is coming to get us. See, they don't got no power. Trying to put, oh, they was in the Levant. When you go on Chat GPT, these are peoples in the Levant. They're Japhet. They're not the Edomites. Say no, they done moved away from the Levant and took over the whole European continent. What are you talking about? Now let's see here. Let's get some more on this dragon right here. I'm gonna get on Revelation 12. We sticking on this military and this World War III too. See, this military of these Edomites, we gonna see what they is gonna be doing in the last days. Now let's link it up with Daniel too, because this Revelation 12 and 7. Look at what it says. It says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought with his angels. Now that's the same situation that's in Daniel. What was Michael doing in Daniel? See, it's the same war. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up. See, that's that war in heaven, the war in the sky. Not no heaven where God is at. The war in the sky with these American airplanes. See, these Edomite airplanes. It says, the great prince, which stands for the children of your people. They don't stand up for a church. See, he's standing up for the Israelites that's in captivity to the military of the Edomites. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation. See, a nation of Israelite slaves. Even to the same time. And that time your people shall be delivered. See, you're going to be delivered from the so-called white man. You're going to be delivered from Babylon the Great, America. See, you're not going to have to stay in America and hope for some Messiah that never going to show up. No, you're going to have a Messiah and he going to come save you from the slavery. It says, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So that's the war in heaven with Michael, because he going to be bringing war to these Edomites. Let's go back to Revelation 12 and 7. Because that angel, they talking about an angel. Angel mean military, man. That don't mean no, he fighting with, it don't mean a powerful spirit every time you see an angel. Oh, no. Let's jump down to verse 9 to get that out the way. It says the great dragon. So the focus is the great dragon. Not no fallen angel. The great dragon. And describes the great dragon in verse 3. It says the red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns. So that dragon had 10 kings. He's describing 10 kings, but he's using it as a dragon. He's calling the 10 kings a dragon. That's what he's doing, man. He's not talking about no fallen angel. He's saying them 10 kings over there, NATO and the EU, they like a red dragon. It says the great dragon was cast out. See, they military gonna get beat down by the angel Michael and the other army that's gonna be fighting with Yahushua. It says there was cast out that old serpent, and that serpent can go 1,000 ways, because King David was calling these Edomite serpents forever. And the serpent in the Genesis was also a dual prophecy, a parable. See, because when you go on 2nd Ezra 13, he said he told Moses to hide some stuff. See, to the average person, they're gonna read it and they're gonna see it in a whole nother way than the wise. The wise gonna understand. This is talking about a bigger situation. Now it says called. So the red dragon just got a nickname. It's not a freaking fallen angel, man. It says called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. So the whole world following the so-called white man, and they deceived. They being lied to. It says, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels was cast out with him. See, because they was fighting, Michael was fighting. See, fighting this dragon. Because they the one had the children of Israel in the captivity. See, and he was fighting them to deliver the children of Israel. This is the same war that's going on. It's not talking about a different war. And that Michael just combined both of them together so you can easily understand it. Now I want to get that war again in Revelation 19. It talks about the same war in Revelation 19, but it names those angels the right way. Verse 19 and 19, it says, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies. See, Michael and his angels, it was saying Michael and his army. Michael came with an army. This dragon, they had army. See, that the beast is the same as the dragon, and they had armies. There was no angels with no dragon, man. It says that their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. See, it wasn't angels fighting angels. It was armies fighting armies. The white man army and God's army. That's what was fighting. But see, he'll tell you that no, it's a fallen angel. It's not us. God is not going to fight us. See, they'll tell you anything, man. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Let's get Esau at the end of the world, man. This is who's going to be there. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Jacob's going to take over the world after these Edomites fall, after their rulership fall. Jacob is going to stand up and take over the world. Let's get, let's get it out of Habakkuk. It's Habakkuk 2, and I'm going to start with verse 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. See, at the end of these Edomites' kingdom, these prophecies is going to be easy to understand. So when you go back up, it says in verse 2, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon table, that they may run that read it. So in the end, it's going to be real plain who the Edomites are. In the end, it's going to be real plain who the Israelites are. Because Israelites is the slaves, and the Edomites is the rulers over the kingdom. It's not going to be hard for you to understand. Oh no, they're Japhet. Well, I got to do some research and I got to look at the history. No, man, it's simple. One of the Israelites that think is the Edomites are Japhet, he say, oh, they try to make it all simple and plain. Yes, the scriptures are plain, man. We ain't got to try to make nothing plain. The scriptures is real plain. It's a ruler and it's a slave. The ruler is going to be the Israelites. The ruler is going to be the Edomites, and the slaves is going to be the Israelites. It's not hard. Now I want to back that up with that Deuteronomy 28, man, because it's too powerful what he said. It's Deuteronomy 28, and I'm going to start with 43. Deuteronomy 28 and 43, it says, the stranger that is within you shall get above you very high, and you shall come down very low. Be a slave. They're going to be the rulers. It says, he shall lend unto you, and you shall not lend unto him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. See, that's not something you got to do a bunch of research. I gotta know the history of Japhet, and I need to know the history. Man, get the heck out of here. The Edomites is gonna be the head of the whole world. See, the end of the world. Esau should be the end of the world. It's not gonna be complicated. The so-called white, the EU, they running the world. Nato running the world. They are the Edomites. It's a simple equation. Okay, and those are my two major verses. But then that's not only what he gave you. He gave you identification. Let's get into that. This Deuteronomy 28 and 49. It says, the Lord shall bring a nation against you from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. See, now we got a representation. The eagle. See, they gonna be the head, you gonna be the tail. See, they gonna have their face on the dollar. See, they gonna have an eagle on the dollar. See, you gonna be the very low, working a job. See, they gonna be in a castle. See, the Rothschild, Rockefeller, these small hats. Come on, man. Let's go into what I want to get. Let's see, I want that lamentation. Let's get lamentation. Lamentation will identify them with having power over the Israelites as they slaves, and they're gonna have the symbol of the eagle, and they're gonna be persecuting them. Come on, man. This is Lamentations chapter 4, starting with verse. Let me get 17, because this will get our people, man. It says, as for us, talking about the Israelites, in Lamentations 4 and 17, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. See, we looking at politics. The politician, go vote. You got Puffy with his baby oil, talking about some vote or die. See, they got put Puffy up there and try to promote some darn voting for the devil. It says, in our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. See, your voting ain't gonna do nothing, man. You got what's the Martin? This darn guy, something Martin. Man, what's his name? Some news guy. He always talking about some freaking politics. I think his last name Martin or something. But anyway, let me jump down to 18. It says, they hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. So, okay, so that goes into that Zechariah 11 and 5, where oppressors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. See, they hunt them down in the streets, kill them, and then you go to court and say, oh, he's in the line of duty. He has a hard job. We just gonna fire him. We're not gonna send him to jail. It says, can I go in our streets? Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. See, this is gonna be the end of our captivity. These people is gonna be ruling over us. It's gonna be a nation ruling over us, and that nation ain't gonna be able to save us. Verse 19, it goes to identification with that eagle. It says, our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They persecute us upon the mountains. They lay wait for us in the wilderness. See, jump down to 21. Well, let's get 22 to get to the point. It's going to identify these persecutors, who's a representation of the eagle at the end of our captivity. 22, it says, the punishment of your iniquity is accomplished. So it's at the end of the slavery for the Israelites. O daughter of Zion, he will no more carry you away into captivity. He will visit your iniquity, O daughter of Edom. he will discover your sin. So the Edomites going to be ruling at the end of the Israelites' captivity. When their time is accomplished, you serve your time, time served, children of Judah, children of Jerusalem, northern kingdom, southern kingdom. Your time is up. Your time has been accomplished. Now it's time for these Edomites who's ruling over you, who can't save you. Their rulership is going to be over, and you going to be in rulership. Now they going to be your captive. Let's get that in Revelation. And Edom is all at the end times, and they in the rulership at the end time. This talking about that beast, that red dragon, that got the best military in the world, where he can say, who gonna bring me down to the ground? Who can war with the beast? See, only America can say that. We'll destroy your whole civilization. This is Revelation 13 and 10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. See, the saints, the real saints, is going to be in captivity, and they're going to be patiently waiting to be released from captivity. See, the saints is not going to be in no religion. They're talking about it's religious captivity. It's Jehovah's wickedness in captivity to Christendom, and the Christendom is ruling all of the Christian world, and we're Jehovah's wickedness, and we're in captivity to them. See, they'll twist that thing up all kind of ways. No, this is the nation of Israel, descendants of slaves in captivity to the so-called white man. See, and he took us into captivity. He gonna have to go into captivity. He was killing us by the force of the sword in the time of our calamity, when our iniquity had an end, at the end of our slavery. You're going to have Jacob's trouble. Let's get into that. See, Jacob's trouble is what Daniel 12 and 1 was talking about, that war in heaven. See, right in Jacob's trouble, this is when he's coming. This is, what I got, Jeremiah. Yeah, let's get the Jacob trouble, then we're going to see how we're going to come out of Jacob's trouble. This Jeremiah 30, and this is the same book, so it's going to give you the same scenario. Jeremiah 30 and 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. That's what Daniel 12 said. When Michael comes, it's going to be the day of Jacob's trouble. It says, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Jacob is going to be saved out of Jacob's trouble. How is he going to be saved? Let's go. Jeremiah, the same writer, same book, Jeremiah 16 and 14. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that it shall no more be said that Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. 15. But Yahweh liveth, that brought the children of Israel from the land of the north. That's what in Zechariah 2 and 6, it said that the children of Israel will be dwelling with the daughter of Babylon, which is these Edomites. Okay. It says, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whether they was driven on a slave ship, see, or other captivity, that they was driven, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave to their father. See, the rescue mission is not going to be, let me take y'all to heaven up in the sky. No, it's going to be, let's take you to your land, see, so you can rule again. Or, rule again, because Solomon and David was ruling the whole world. Okay, so this is what it's talking about. When Michael show up, the Israelites is going to be in trouble. See, the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, Levi, The southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. They're going to be in trouble like never before, because what's going to be happening? These dragons is going to be trying to do what to them? Let's get the prophecy first, and then we'll get Matthew to match it. This Psalms 83 and 4 to get right to the point. No, let's at 3. And it's going to show these Edomites going to be in the time of this end when they're going to be trying to get rid of the Israelites. Psalms 83 and 3. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against your people. See, that's what they're doing in the UN. See, the UN is ran by all Edomites, man. They got the Chinaman up in there with some veto power, but he don't got no veto power over 4 Edomites. It says, taking crafty counsel against your people and consulted against your hidden ones. See, they'll even consult with the Israelites and say, we need your help to conquer your people, just like they did the Indians. We need a scout to show us where they at. We'll help you out if you help us out. This verse 4, Psalms 83 and 4, it says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. But they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against you. The tabernacles of Edom. See, in the end of the world, when the Edomites is ruling, they're going to try to exterminate the Israelites, man. And the Ishmaelites. See, them Arabs over there, they in cahoots too. You see how much money they making from the oil? $140 million, man, a day, just for making a toll booth at some freaking what you call it, Strait of Hamas or whatever the crap name. It says Moab, the Chinaman, he in cahoots too. He in everybody's neighborhood with them darn fried rice and shrimp fried rice, roaches and rice. He in everybody's neighborhood selling roaches and rice. Okay. Now the matching verse for this one is Matthew 24. So they ask him what's gonna be the end of the situation. Well, let's show you the end, and he gonna put Jacob's trouble right in the end of the situation. It's Matthew 24 and 21. It says, for then shall be great tribulation. See, Jacob's trouble, such as was not since the beginning of the world. Like he said in Daniel, since it was a nation, beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Okay, here go the point in 22. Except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. See, if we don't stop the time right now, if we don't save these Israelites right now, he telling the angels, we got to go down and save these Israelites. Because if we don't do it, none of them will survive. It says, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. See, we got to go down here and save these Israelites. Let's see who's the elect. Who is the elect according to the Bible, not the so-called white men? It's Isaiah chapter 5 and 4. It says, for Jacob, my servant's sake. See, that's why he said, for the elect's sake. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, my elect. See, that's who the elect is, the nation of Israel. He got to stop the time and come and rescue them, because Jacob's going to be in trouble. He got to come save them out of trouble. Let's get it out of Luke. Luke, and this is what these church folks don't understand. The salvation you looking for is a lie. There was never no heaven and hell salvation issue. It wasn't talking about no heaven and hell, man. The Bible ain't all about no heaven and hell. See, that's a lie. It's about the Israelites being in a hellish captivity under their enemies, the Edomites. That's the hell that's in the Bible. What's that? Isaiah 13 or something. I'll get that next. But let's get Luke first. This is Luke chapter 1. I'm getting right to the point. Verse 68. Luke chapter 1 verse 68. It says, "Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and have raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we shall be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us." So we're going to be in the hand of our enemies. Our enemies going to have us in their hands, holding us, refusing to let us go. What's that? Jeremiah 50:33. Our enemies going to be holding us, refusing to let us go. Okay? It says, "To perform the mercy promised to our fathers and remember the holy covenant." See, they trying to exterminate us. They consulting together with one consent. They got crafty counsel. They confederate against us. He not just finna let us be exterminated. He gonna stick to the promise he gave to Abraham. He says, verse 74, this is Luke 1:74, that he will grant unto us that we being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, the people that refusing to let us go, okay, out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear. So we can serve him and be in that kingdom as his bride. Now I'm trying to get another one about these enemies. Salvation from the enemies. Luke 21. Luke 21. It says, we start at 24. It says, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captives into all nations, slaves. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles." So it's not going to be Israelites over there when Yahweh shall come back. Or if it is, they don't supposed to be over there. It says, "Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled." Okay, so the Gentiles is going to be in that land at the last days. It says, jump down to verse 26. It says, "Men's hearts fell in them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken." So that's going to be that great tribulation. See, men's heart is going to be fell in them for fear. Jacob is going to be in trouble. See, the Gentiles is going to be in trouble. See, and they're going to be saying the Lord is coming back. Verse 27, it says, "And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up." See, he's still talking to the Israelites. He's not switched it and say, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to start a church, and then after I start the church, then I'm going to come back." No. He says, "Then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth near." So the Israelite is going to be saved, redeemed. Redemption means being saved. Saved from the hand of your enemies, refusing to let you go. See, they're not going to give you reparations. They're not going to say, "We got some ships, we're going to take you back to the land of Ham. We're not going to give you your land back. Oh, we found out that the records show that y'all really are Israelites. We're going to send y'all back over there and kick those small hats out the land." No, none of that's going to happen. See, Yahweh shall going to come back and find out these Edomites is in that land. Let's go and get that too. It's Ezekiel 36 and 5. It says, therefore, thus says the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea. See, that's who over there in that land. It says, which have appointed my land into their possession. See, them tiny small hat people, they over there in that land talking about they some Jews and some Israelis. It says that the joy of all their heart with the spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Now, they cast it out for a prey, and the prey is that they got land a bit. Oh, we got the Holy Land. They over there standing up talking about, hey, this is the Holy Land, and having all kind of documentaries and people go on tours, paying for tourism and all this crap. They go and look at the land and look. This is where the temple was. This is where the Israelites was in slavery. See, over there with the spiteful minds, man. Now I want to get another one. This is it says in the fire of my jealousy. I got this. I'm thinking about this Zechariah 8. This Zechariah 8, and I'm gonna start with 2 to get to the point. It says, thus says Yahweh of armies, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Thus says Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of Yahweh of armies, the holy mountain. Okay. So he's jealous when it comes to the Israelites. And what is he gonna do? Let's get at Ezekiel 25. Because they on Pulp Fiction quoting Ezekiel 25 and 17. What are you quoting Ezekiel 25 for, man? Do you know what that's all about? Ezekiel 25 is about the vengeance that the Lord is going to give the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That he going to give them vengeance for what these dragons is doing and have done. This Ezekiel 25 and 14. It says, I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury. And they shall know my vengeance, says the Lord Yahweh. Okay. Let's jump down to 17 and see this is what he was talking about. They quoting this in Pulp Fiction. It says, and I will execute great vengeance upon them, who the Edomites, with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am Yahweh, when I will lay my vengeance upon them. That's the same vengeance he's talking about in Isaiah 63. Okay? And so what we at? 60. So we're gonna be executing vengeance on the Edomites. Oh, I think that's in Zechariah 9 and 13, is it? Yeah, Zechariah 9 and 13. This goes along with that Ezekiel 25 and 14. Just go right along with it. Zechariah 9 and 13, it says, when I have bent Judah for me, build the bow with Ephraim, and raised up your sons, O Zion, against your sons, O Greece. and made you as a sword of a mighty man. And Yahweh shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning. And the Lord Yahweh shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south. So it's going to be the children of Israel fighting these Edomites. Let's get it out of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 51. This is going to be the end of their kingdom. They're going to have to fight the Israelites. Jeremiah 51 and 19. It says, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance, and Yahweh of armies is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with you will I break in pieces the nation. So he's going to use the Israelites to break in pieces the nation. And with you will I destroy kingdoms. And with you will I break in pieces the horse and his rider. See, he's going to use the Israelites to execute vengeance on these Edomites, man. And how are they going to do it with they being feeble slaves? Okay, they're not going to stay feeble slaves. Look at how you going to do it. This is Zechariah 12 and 7. It says, Yahweh also shall save the tents of Judah first. So, okay, how is he going to save Judah and then the other Israelites? How is he going to save them? Let's jump down to verse 8. It says, in that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Who was inhabiting Jerusalem? The Israelites. It says, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. See, a mighty warrior. And the house of David shall be as the Most High. So we're going to be like God. That's why he say, ye are gods. It says, as the angel of Yahweh before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. See, you need to he gonna see they over here with the speaker talking to me. They just don't know what they done got themselves involved in. Now the police finna pull they behind over. The Esau is finished. You finished. Hey, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. See, the Lord is going to destroy these dragons, man, because Babylon, the great America, is an abomination to the Lord. Let's get that. And it's ran by these Edomites. See, their rulership is going to be over. This Revelation 17 and 5. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written. See, it's a name written on this plate. See, and this is a perfect example. The women in America should be dressing like these women. Let's put it on the pit. Let's put it on, because see, since they want to be all in the camera. See, this is how the women should be dressing. They should have dresses on at all times. Okay? But Babylon and Great America say, nope, you don't gotta wear a dress. You can wear pants. You can be butt naked in the streets. It says, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. See, the whole earth want to be like America. Let's be like America. We can walk around naked. See, the police won't pull us over and say nothing. We can be butt naked in America. See, it's legal. Oh, she got on underwear. I can wear underwear in the street. See, that's Babylon. This place is going to be destroyed by nuclear fire. See, that's why the Iranians got nuclear missiles, and they're going to blow this place up. Let's get the destruction on verse 16. See what's going to happen to the abomination. Revelation 17 and 16. It says the 10 horns which you saw upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. See, they're going to hate Babylon, America. It says, and shall make her desolate and naked, since you want to be naked all the time, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. See, it's going to burn this place with fire. Nuclear fire from, let's get it. Let's go back to Revelation 16. Where is it? Verse 18. Let's get verse 18. Revelation 16 and 18. It says, and there voices and there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake. What's gonna cause a great earthquake? It's gonna be a nuclear missile. It says, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great. And the great city, America, was divided into 3 parts. See, because that nuclear missile hit, boom, and separated the place. It says, and the cities of the nations fell. All the other cities that's around America is going to fall once the nuclear missiles go to dropping. It says, and great Babylon came into remembrance before the Most High, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. See, every island fell away, and the mountains were not found. So these missiles, man, they keep blowing this place to smithereens. Verse 21, it says, and there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven. What is that? That's a bunch of nuclear missiles coming out of heaven from the sky. It says, every stone about the weight of a talent. They're going to be like stones falling from the sky when those missiles start dropping. That's why they got the movie Fallout. Why they got the movie Fallout? Because that's what's going to happen. They got the movie Billionaire Bunker. Yeah, because they creating bunkers because they know them missiles is going to go to flying. Russia and China and Iran and North Korea is going to have them missiles flying. It says, and men blasphemed the Most High because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceedingly great. See, it's going to be so great, it's going to cause a great earthquake. The whole earth, let's get it out of Isaiah 24. See, the whole earth is going to be rocking because they're going to have all them missiles flying. This Isaiah 24, Isaiah 24 and 20. It says, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunken. So the earth's going to be rocking like a drunken man. And when they get drunk, they go to rocking and stumbling. It says the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunken, and be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. So they thinking they're gonna be in some tribulation. Oh, by then we're gonna be in the rapture. Never happened. See, the Israelites gonna get raptured and taken to their land. It's not gonna be the earth being destroyed and folks gonna get raised up. That's a lie, man. Israelites gonna be rescued from America, the American destruction. That's what's gonna happen. This verse 21, why are these people creating bunkers in the ground? It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. So the kings of the earth is causing all this drama. These peons ain't got no power. These peons ain't organizing and making no power moves and doing nothing. See, the American government not even doing nothing. They got the Israeli small hats, BB Nato Jew, see, the Israelites over there making all power moves, paying the lobbyists, paying the lobbyists money to lobby America. Verse 22 it says, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. So they gonna try to hide, but they not gonna get away. See, we gonna pull them out of the places where they trying to hide. Let's get at it in Jeremiah 16. In Jeremiah 16 and 16. This is what these elites that's building these bunkers, trying to hide from the Holocaust, the nuclear Holocaust. This is what we gonna do for them. This Jeremiah 16 and 16. It says, behold, I will send for many fishers, says Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill out of the holes of the rocks. See, they're going to be down there in the billionaire bunker trying to hide. See, thinking everybody else going to get blowed up. But we going to go down there and hunt them out of them bunkers and throw they behind in the slave, man. Let's get this Jeremiah 30 and 16. So they think they're going to get away from their punishment. It says, therefore all that devour you shall be devoured. All your adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil you shall be a spoil. And all that prey upon you will I give for a prey. So they're not going to get away from them. They're going into captivity. And so Edom is all through the last days of Bible prophecy. Now when you go into, where is it? Malachi, where it talks about Edom is the border of wickedness. Malachi, he's writing prophecies now, and he's writing about the end days. Who is he talking about? If he's not talking about Edom being at the end of the world, because he's talking about the end of the world. Elijah is going to come back. Let me not quote it, let's speak it. And then he's showing you how the nuclear missiles is going to be the end of these Edomites' kingdom. So in Malachi 1 and 4, it's talking about the Edomites. Okay? So he goes into the kingdom of the Edomites. It's going to be impoverished, and he's going to come and rebuild, but I'm going to throw them down. How is he going to throw those Edomites down? This Malachi 4 and 1. It says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud. See, in Obadiah it says, your pride have deceived you. Who said, who gonna bring me down to the ground? It says, and all the proud and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, says Yahweh of hosts, of armies, that it shall leave neither root nor branch. So the police is active. That's the spirit. See, them spirits active, boy. The spirits is active. And look, Esau telling, boy, they really tell them. And she out, and the chick out there with the, let me show her. The chick out there, Battle can get it because that wall in the way. She out there butt naked, trying to fight with these people, then they call her, she trying to put a shirt on. Nah, you shouldn't have been out there butt naked. See, the Lord putting judgment on they behind instantly. Like somebody ran into her car. Said, yep, you should have been out here butt naked on the beach, and you wouldn't have got into all that drama. And now you need the so-called white man to chase them down. Chase them down. They hit my car. They violated me. But anyway, back into that Malachi 4:1 showed you clearly that the Edomites is the ones that's the wicked and the proud that Malachi is talking about. See, he ain't gonna focus. He gonna break down the Edomites, and then it's about somebody else. It's about Japheth. Oh, he's gonna destroy Japheth. Man, get out of here. This is Malachi 4:5. It says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh." So this prophet that's like Elijah is going to be in the last days. They're trying to say, oh God, he got rid of all his prophets. He only dealing with these fake pastors in the church. Say no, he's bringing prophets in the last days, just like he brought Elijah, and they're going to be prophesying about the border of wickedness, which is the Edomites, and they're going to be prophesying about this nuclear holocaust that's going to burn like an oven, man. Before he calls the day to happen, he going to bring the prophet. And what else the prophet's going to be doing? They're going to be telling the Israelites that y'all are Israelites and not no colors and no, and a language. Oh, you're Hispanic. You're a color. You're darky, brown, black. So, let's see. Malachi is a big book. Obadiah is a big book. It's very small, but it's very powerful. Because it's focusing on these Edomites, and they're ruling the world at the end. And how it's going to end in nuclear fire. Let's get some more. Yahweh shall come with fire too. This Isaiah 66:15. It says, "For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many." Okay, he coming with fire, man. He not coming weak. He not gonna give nobody no pass, but the Israelites. See, the Israelites gonna get a pass because he promised their forefathers, see, that he was gonna save them from that trouble. Let's get I want to get that Daniel. Yeah, let me get that Daniel. It's Daniel 2:44. It says, "In the days of these kings," what kings? Edomite kings. That's what the Revelations 12:13 is about. The kings of Esau. It says, "In the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people." See, only the Israelites. "But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms." See, the Israelites is the only ones that don't have a kingdom. With that Hosea 3:4 and 5, they the one is dwelling without a king. So he's saying these kingdoms, and we go to Isaiah 14:18, it says all these kings of the nations, they lie in glory, everyone in his own house. See, all these kings and other nations outside the nation of Israel, they have their kings in their land. Only the Israelites don't have no land and don't have no king with a military to protect his kingdom. It says, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Okay, let me get it in 7. See, that forever means forever. This Daniel 7 and 18, it says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. See, and those saints goes back to Psalms 50 and 5, the ones that made a sacrifice with blood, see, with the Most High. That's who the saints are. That's Psalms 148 and 14. Even of the children of Israel. These who the saints are. See, what's that? Psalm 149. See, to sing the song of the congregation of the saints, that's going to be singing upon their bed with a two-edged sword, ready to execute vengeance upon the heathen, the non-Israelites. Okay, that's who the saints are. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. But why? Because they're going to have immortality. He's going to give them immortal bodies. That's why it says in Zechariah, Zechariah 12 and 8, that they was going to be like the angel of the Lord. They was going to be like God, see, because they're going to have immortal bodies. Paul in 1 Corinthians 15 and like 51, it says they're going to be changed in a twinkling of an eye, and they're going to be given immortality. See, that's why their kingdom is going to last forever. How their kingdom going to fall when they the only immortals on the earth? So let's see here. I want to get some more on these Edomites. And this is the end of y'all kingdom. This Obadiah. I'm gonna get verse 9, Obadiah 1 and 9. It says, and your mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau might be cut off by slaughter. Okay. Verse 10, it says, for your violence against your brother Jacob, shame shall cover you, and you shall be cut off forever. And that's after these 1,000 years reign that it's going to talk about in verse 21. It says, and saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. Okay. So the Lord, in the Lord's kingdom, these Edomites is going to be being judged for all the wickedness that they was doing. See. Yeah, and so that's those are the major verses that I wanted. So in World War III, it's going to be about these Edomites. And let's get this World War III and Joel 3 and 10. Joel 3 and 10, because this is where we at right now when it comes to World War III and these Edomites fighting for their life. It says, Joel 3 and 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So the weak is these other nations that's going to be destroying Babylon and Great America. Was that Jeremiah 50 and 9? Assembly of great kingdoms or great nations is going to be fighting Babylon. It says, verse 11 of Joel 3, assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause your mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Meaning cause the mighty kingdom, Babylon the Great America, the American Empire, the NATO and the EU, which they gonna switch out on Babylon. That's what the 10 horns, which is NATO and the EU, they gonna switch out on America and destroy her behind. See, for being an abomination and wicked. And so them the ones that's they're smaller nations and they trying to become strong because they are weak. Well, that Isaiah 14 says they ask a question, are you now as weak as we? See, because they gonna get on the level as America. And right now you got China sending all kind of weapons to the Iranians, and same thing with Russia. Russia's sending all kind of technology and stuff to the Iranians. So that's what we get when it comes to these wars. They preparing and gearing up for World War III, okay? And Jacob's trouble and the mark of the beast. Let me address that real quick. The mark of the beast is gonna be Esau's way that he gonna try to exterminate the Israelites. See, the goal is to exterminate the Israelites, but you gotta identify the chosen. Let me get that in 2nd Ezra 16. 2nd Ezra 16 and 70. It says, for there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So that great insurrection is going to be in Jacob's trouble. They're going to be trying to find out who is these chosen Israelites that's supposed to replace us and take over the kingdom. It says, they shall be like mad men, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known. Okay, so how they trying to know who these elite, these not elite, but these elect chosen Israelites? They gonna try to find out who they are, and the way to do that is to lock everything down and identify everybody. And because the prophecies say that they not gonna receive this mark of the beast. They're not going to receive it. They're going to reject it. They're not going to consent unto them. Okay? It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen. So that's what they're trying to find out. Who are the chosen? So what we got to do is we got to put identification, digital ID on everybody. When we put digital ID on everybody, now we can identify who these Israelites is. Now can we see who is the chosen? And in Wisdom of Solomon, it goes into that in Wisdom of Solomon 2. It says, where is it? It says, it's 2 and 10. It says, it's Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice. So they're going to use that law to try to put pressure on these Israelites. For that which is feeble is found to be worth nothing worth. Okay? It says, where is it? It's a special part. It talks about them trying to torture the Israelites. It says, verse 17, let us see if his words are be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. See, let's see if he the chosen. Let's put pressure and see if he reject us and we try to put him to death. Let's see if God gonna save him. It says, verse 18, it says, for if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture. that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. See, they trying to find who is these sons of God, who is these chosen. So we got to have a great insurrection, and we got to put these robotic computer gadgets and these this mark of the beast on the people. I call it the mark of Esau. See, we got to put our mark on them, see, and enslave them, and we to enslave the world pretty much, so we can find out who these chosen is. That's what we looking for. And I think they had a movie like that. It's called Glass, and they had found the chosen and had them all in prison. And so they were like, let's don't let them know their power, and let's not let them communicate with the rest of the chosen, so they can wake the other chosen peoples up who gonna have these superpowers and all this kind of stuff. So this is why that mark of the beast is gonna be so powerful, and it's gonna be doing when this war start to rage on. But this is Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. It says, "Then shall the righteous man stand with great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labor. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear." So this is why they're coming with that MO to the T to the B, that grain of rice that they trying to put in people so they can identify them. Digital currency, digital ID, okay, because these people are standing up and fulfilling prophecy. We got to see which one of these folks is the chosen. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. Okay? So this is why these people is moving so fast with their technology. They got these data centers, because they're going to try to sit around and create all these microchips so they can chip the whole world. But I'm going to leave it there. It was one that I wanted, man. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. So shalom to all of the elect. Hope the lesson was edifying. And we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekakadash. Double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the descendants of slaves scattered around the globe on slave ships and through many captivities. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.